Spider-Man Brand New Day is out, and this is going to be my spoiler talk video on that movie, my thoughts, my feelings, big reveals. So you have been warned, there are spoilers ahead. If you don't want to see any spoilers, please, if you don't mind, quickly subscribe, quickly like, go to my spoiler free video and then come back. I'm just messing. But yes, there are a load of things to talk about, and I'm excited to talk about the things I never got to speak about in my spoiler free review. So let's go ahead and talk Spider-Man Brand New Day. Let's begin. So I want to quickly talk about the plot, just to add a little bit more context here. Spider-Man Brand New Day picks up 4 years after the events of No Way Home. With the world having forgotten Peter Parker, he lives a lonely life, dedicating himself entirely to protecting New York as Spider-Man. But when a mysterious telepathic force begins possessing innocent people across the city, Peter is pulled into a psychological battle unlike anything he's faced before. As his own powers begin to change and the people he once loved continue living without him, he's forced to confront his past, his identity, and what kind of hero he wants to become. The antagonist is none other than the one and only Jean Grey. Yep, you heard that correctly. Jean Grey from X-Men. That is who Sadie Sink plays as. I have to say, what an introduction. I mean, in a Spider-Man film, we're getting a major X-Men character introduced into the MCU in a Spider-Man film. I'm sure we have all noticed that we are seeing glimpses of the X-Men slowly coming into the MCU, with the likes of Captain Marvel or the Marvels. The end credits there, we saw a X-Men character. We've also got Miss Marvel, where they talk about mutations and they played the X-Men theme in the background.
Like a mutation.
And I can't think of anything else from the top of my head, but the biggest one would definitely be Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool, Wolverine, Gambit. We're definitely going into the X-Men phase next. And for Jean Grey, a major X-Men character, to be introduced in a Spider-Man movie, that's a bold move from Marvel, and it's something I'm definitely on board with. I actually liked her story. I liked how everything came to be. I liked her introduction, her motive, which was to find her sister who was taken away, and that led to her doing dark things and, you know, really causing chaos. I'm pretty sure I remember this correctly, and I'm hoping that I didn't just see things here, but I'm pretty sure she possessed a civilian, and when she's talking with Spider-Man, this civilian walks backwards and gets hit by a car. I did see that right, and I was thinking, wow, this is dark. But I liked how she hopped person to person. I thought that was really great to see on the screen, and I don't think that's something we've actually seen from Jean Grey in a live action film. And the twist at the end, the thing that she was looking for that might help her find her sister, which was, I think it was a VMAX. It turns out it was just a vent. And that sounds silly, right? But this is where I was like, oh wow. It was the last thing her sister saw before she died. And I think something telepathically, she reached out to Jean before this all happened, and that's the last thing Jean sort of remembers or heard from her sister. And that was something Jean was always searching for. But when Jean was put in the same position as her sister and saw that vent, she then realized that was actually the last thing she saw. And that was some powerful stuff. You could say it was tragic, yet almost, I don't know if poetic's the word for it, but it was a nice, I wouldn't say nice, but it was a surprising twist. And when Jean Grey confronted the person that did this to her sister, she let out this massive wave of power that, let's say, froze half of New York. Probably not half, but, you know, let's just say half in this context. And she was speaking with Peter, and she went into Peter's mind. And in there, she spoke with Aunt May, and that was actually a really beautiful scene. And it was Aunt May that ended up getting through to Jean. And it's just like, you wouldn't have foreseen these things. It's like you're watching a Spider-Man movie, we've got the introduction of Jean Grey, and it's Aunt May that brings Jean Grey peace in her mind and allows her to eventually move forward. Um, unless I've completely misread that, I thought that was really beautiful. Now, when this is happening, the Punisher is aiming at Jean Grey with his sniper. He takes a shot, and surprise, surprise, Peter gets in the way and takes a bullet. Peter's laying on the floor, struggling to breathe, in a lot of pain. I don't know if this happens straight away, but she connects to Peter and helps him breathe by doing the breathing herself. And you're getting a glimpse of the power she has, as well as it being a beautiful moment. I've also made a note here as well that she also controlled Hulk. There was a lot that happened in this movie, but we'll come back to Hulk shortly anyway. Sadie Sink done a great job portraying Jean Grey. I believe she was brilliantly casted. I think she's suited for this role, and I'm excited for what comes next. It does make me curious whether she'll be in Doomsday or maybe Secret Wars, because with the X-Men coming into Doomsday, it does make me think maybe she has a part to play, or this is just genuinely the new introduction of the new X-Men characters in the MCU. Now, the Punisher. After seeing One Last Kill, I wasn't expecting this. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to see him so much in this film. We did kind of get a PG rated version of Frank Castle. Don't get me wrong, he was swearing a lot in it, but nothing like we saw in One Last Kill. But I loved this version of the Punisher. I mean, his relationship with Spider-Man, the banter between them, the chemistry, it was like this buddy cop kind of vibe, and it worked so well. Like, they're two different characters, but the combination of them in this film was probably the best part about it, as crazy as that sounds. It was just hilarious. And the fact that Peter said to him, "Go home, Frank, this is above your pay grade," that's just top tier stuff, man. I love that. And the scene where they're fighting Hulk together, Punisher comes and helps out Peter, and it's just like, what are you gonna do to Hulk? But it just works, and it's like seeing something out of an animated episode, you know, one of the animated series of Spider-Man. And this is an episode where Spider-Man comes across Hulk and the Punisher and other characters, but we're seeing this in a live action film. It's just crazy seeing the Punisher mix with Spider-Man and the Hulk, and Jean Grey as well. I just find it crazy that the Punisher, from where he started on Netflix's Daredevil to being in the MCU now, fighting Hulk, it's just crazy stuff, and time just works in crazy ways. The best thing for me, though, between the two characters, Spider-Man and the Punisher, was when Spider-Man is on, or Peter Parker is on the hospital bed, and, you know, Frank's with him. He thought he's killed him, he thought he's done damage to him, and they're having this moment together, and it was really nice, it was really sweet. And Frank goes to Peter, you know, because Peter's got his mask off in this moment, and he's like, you're exactly how I thought you would look, a good kid, etc., etc. And there was something about this where it was a nice exchange between these two characters. It was just a wholesome moment, and that stuck with me. But the best bit about that was when Peter's trying to leave the hospital, and, you know, he's got loads of fans outside the hospital just waiting to see Spider-Man, and Peter gets away, and then they all see Spider-Man in the window, and he's waving, Spider-Man's waving, and it's just the Punisher having the greatest time with the Spider-Man mask, going, "Ooh, ooh," you know, John Bernthal grunt noise. But yeah, I'm kind of geeking out right now, but it's moments like this that make these films feel special, and why we love them. Now let's talk Spider-Man, let's talk Spidey. 10 years ago, he was introduced into the MCU in Captain America Civil War. Great introduction. Since then, I mean, we've had 7 appearances from him. So if we go Civil War, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, Brand New Day, of course, Infinity War, and Endgame. So 7 appearances. This is definitely the most evolved Spider-Man we have seen amongst all the live action Spider-Man films. And that's not hating, it's just this Spider-Man is part of a greater cinematic universe. Spider-Man is a character of tragedy. Nothing good lasts or happens to him often, but everyone loves him, and in this film you saw that everyone loves him, just as us as fans love Spider-Man. This transitional phase of Peter Parker was interesting because everything he has gone through or is going through, his body is changing. This makes his power grow somewhat stronger, and this darkness transforms him, and we see a slightly darker side to him. It was almost like he was being taken over by the symbiote, but his eyes would go black like a spider, and this led to increased strength, heightened senses, and of course the organic web shooting. I love the scenes where he's learning how to use his organic webbing and references Peter 2, which in this is our legendary Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And yeah, there were some funny moments with this, but also some dark moments. And I think this film connected to us in these dark moments because it felt like it was about, like, when you're going through your darkest times, you either discover yourself or you lose yourself. And I think that's what made this film feel relatable. Now, on to the big part where Peter's feeling the most weight on his shoulders. Losing Aunt May was tough for him, definitely. It's a big loss in his life. But he also lost 2 more people that he loved that no longer remember him. Many years have passed, they have moved on with their lives. MJ's got a new boyfriend, ouch. Ned is a massive fan of Spider-Man and is trying to find out who he is. But I'm going to skip to the serious parts. So Peter knows that Jean is trying to get to him by using MJ. And there is this scene where Peter feels like he's saved MJ. He's got her away from Jean. They're having this moment between them, and you know, MJ goes to him. I feel like we're connected. You know, you were around and saved us here, there, and everywhere. And I feel like you were part of my life somewhere, but I don't remember. Not word for word. And this is making Peter feel overwhelmed. You know, he's like, oh my god, she's remembering. Like, I haven't had to say anything, she remembers. And to have that Spider-Man kiss, that's a very special moment between them. You know, this is feeling amazing for him. He's on top of the world right now. He's broke down in tears because how much this has all meant to him. All that weight that he's been feeling, all that emotion he's been feeling for years, he's let it out. And then, boom. It turns out it was Jean controlling MJ. And that was dark. After all that, Peter takes MJ to the Punisher where it's safe, away from Jean. And a little bit later into the movie, she finds the note that Peter wrote her originally about everything. And she's just like, I don't remember any of this, and I don't love you. Ouch. I can't lie, these moments were tough, they were emotional, and I felt hurt for Peter. But yeah, credit to Tom Holland and Zendaya in these moments because they absolutely smashed those scenes. This did feel like a little bit of a different MJ here. You know, usually she's got these darkest jokes and sometimes a little bit awkward, and we don't get much of that here, but that's not a bad thing. We're not criticizing, you know, this is years later and things change, times change, people change. Now Ned, Peter's best friend. They were bros. Now we know that Ned doesn't know who Spider-Man is, he doesn't know who Peter is, and Zendaya, MJ, invites Spider-Man into their apartment because Ned and MJ live together. And we had this really wholesome moment where Ned's all excited, oh my god, he's meeting Spider-Man, and they start building Lego together, which was a reminder of the old days where, you know, they built the big Death Star. And I know it sounds sad, but in this moment, I couldn't help but feel happy for Peter. Then there's another moment at the end of the film where Peter bumps into Ned and Peter reintroduces himself. And they're going to that handshake that they usually do, and it was just like the old days, and Ned's face the whole time was just priceless. These moments is what made this film feel special. This is why we connect to these films, to these characters. These movies make the film feel more than just an MCU superhero film. I actually forgot that Yelena Belova was in this movie as well. Like I said in my spoiler-free review, this movie does a great job in keeping things connected with other MCU characters, yet keeping Spider-Man front and center of it all. Yelena didn't exactly have a major role, but her scenes in the movie were actually quite funny, and I do love Florence Pugh as Yelena, or now officially confirmed in this movie as the Black Widow. The only thing I didn't really like was when she was calling Spider-Man's problems small potatoes, and she only deals with big potatoes. Even though everyone has forgot who Peter is, that doesn't change the fact that everyone knows who Spider-Man is. This guy fought against and with the Avengers. Spider-Man went to space and fought Thanos. Spider-Man fought Thanos again with all the Avengers to save the world. There are no small potatoes here. But I guess in the context of things, Avengers and let's say Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood, I kind of get it. But put respect on my boy's name. Last character, and that is the Hulk, aka Dr. Banner. And I didn't expect to see him so much in this movie, and the moments between him and Peter was really nice. Man, you've got to give it to Tom Holland. You know, after seeing the Odyssey, everyone just seems to have great chemistry with him, and I think that's a testament to him as an actor. Anyway, it was great to see this version of Hulk, a bit of 2012 Avengers in there, and to see the thunderclap was just brilliant. For a moment, I thought we was getting Endgame Hulk, and I was like, you lied to us. Then the real Hulk actually came out, and it was just chaotically great to watch. Daniel Cretton just done a great job here. He's taken Spider-Man in the MCU to the next level. John Watts done a great job with the home series, but we needed to move on to the next chapter, and I feel like we experienced that here. And I wanted to mention The Hand because I actually loved their fight scenes. They sort of fought as an ensemble and sort of worked off each other to try and beat Spider-Man, and it just looked great on screen. Last thing I wanted to mention was how much we saw Peter in the Spider-Man suit throughout the whole movie, and it actually reminded me of the Batman. Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne spent a lot of time in the suit, but I actually love that about the movie. It makes it feel like we're watching what we're here to see. This movie actually felt quite mature. It felt like Spider-Man has really grown with his audience, and as I've said already, it feels like Spider-Man has really evolved over these films. Anyway, there may have been things I've left out, but these were the main talking points for me. Oh, and the end credit scene. Ned's Spider-Man tracker says that Spider-Man is off planet. This had me thinking a few things. Secret Wars and Symbiote. Doomsday has got to be something else. I mean, if I've got excited over seeing the Punisher, the Hulk, Jean Grey, Scorpion all suited and booted, and all this in a Spider-Man film, I can only imagine what Doomsday is going to make me feel like. Imagine seeing the Fantastic Four, the Wakandans, X-Men, New Avengers, Old Avengers all come together. It just feels like 26 years in the making. All of it finally connecting, and yeah, exciting times ahead. Anyway, that is my spoiler review on Spider-Man Brand New Day. Have you seen the film? If so, what do you think? What was one of the best scenes from there? What was one of your favourite characters or your favourite moments? Do let me know in the comments. If you're new here, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It would mean a lot. Until then, we will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Take care.